do you have any issue with being on camera? Okay, fine.
I can't say that I'd be the best at it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. I've driven down to the garage in my RS3 today, but we're not here for that. We are actually here because work is starting on the Civic. So we've pulled it into the garage and you can probably hear it's having a bit of an idle issue. But we've pulled it in because we're going to get up on the Ram, have a look underneath, see how bad it is exactly. And then we're also going to drop the engine out so that we can start doing some of the prep work for parts that will be arriving this week. So very exciting. Still a bit nervous, but exciting. And yeah, let's go see how bad it is. I want to say it's not that bad for a 20-year-old car, but it probably is actually, isn't it? It's quite bad.
I have seen worse, but yeah, it's certainly...
Oh, there's our coolant leak.
Yeah, I think the coolant may have actually been coming up from over this side.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, fine. So yeah, so what, I mean, do I need to worry about replacing these initially then, or?
Components like the subframes wouldn't necessarily have to be replaced. You know, we could potentially look at removing them, getting them shot blasted and powder coated, and sort of, you know, wax oiled inside all the cavities, you know, bits and pieces like that. Obviously, a car that has been used daily in UK roads is always going to have, you know, an extent of corrosion and bits and pieces on the underside of the car, but unfortunately the Japanese do seem to be particularly bad with them. So yeah, it may be something that we certainly consider in the future, to remove some bits and get them powder coated.
And then, so all right, fine. So we could kind of save them. What about stuff like this?
Stuff like the roll bars, we could potentially do the same again, shot blast those and get them powder coated, or we could potentially look at some upgraded options. You know, a lot of people do tend to go for stiffer roll bars, you know, replacement roll bar bushes, etc.
Right.
And just try and improve the handling of the car slightly.
And then this, we're replacing this, aren't we? So
yes.
To here.
Yes. So we have got a replacement manifold coming.
Fine.
Obviously, with doing the intake, the inlet manifold, and the ECU, etc. I want to sort of try and get the most out of the car with just sort of bolt-on parts for the time being. And
then maybe we could get away with just kind of keeping this back box for now. I mean, it doesn't look fantastic, but it don't look.
No, I mean, we could potentially, you know, use this for the time being until we've sort of got an end plan with the exact route we are going to go with the car, and potentially look to change it in the future.
But it's what? So it's this, isn't it? Is what we're replacing?
Yes. So on the Civics, it is very common for the inner sills to corrode through, and as you can see from here, we have got quite a nice little inspection panel up through there. So yes, like I said, it's a very common issue to see on the EP3s. So we have got the full sill replacement panels coming, so we'll cut those out, put some new sill panels in. Same again, you know, sort of wax oil all the insides just to try and prevent the rust as much as we can.
Okay, and then up the back, I don't think there's anything too bad up here.
No, I mean, obviously, same again, you know, some of the steel parts are showing some signs of corrosion. So, you know, we could potentially, same again, look to removing some of those, getting them powder coated, etc. Obviously, one of the big things on the rear is the brakes as well. They are in really quite poor condition on the rear as well.
They are bad.
Calipers are actually seized and holding the handbrake on, which is another thing again, it is quite common to see on the Civics.
Fine, but okay, I mean, and what about this as well? Like there's like a hole here.
Yes, so we are going to grind all this back, you know, see to the full extent of, you know, how much damage there is. Sort of make a new panel and try and do a repair on that for the time being. Like I said, just so we can try and get the car roadworthy, get it through an MOT, make the car usable for the time being.
Fine. Oh yeah, there's another hole there as well.
Yes, so yeah, that is part of the...
Yeah, I'm just spotting all the holes now. Oh yeah, there's a couple over here as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you do inherently find it is where the water sits up behind these panels.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the water just sits up behind them, hasn't got anywhere to go, so it just sits there and obviously corrodes the metal. And with it, you know, being Japanese, they are not quite suited to UK roads as a lot of the European-made cars are. So yeah, of course, all the Japanese cars, it is something that we do see.
Although, I wonder, it must have had, these look like new screws, so I'm wondering if that was ever taken off for a reason. And them, like.
Yeah, I mean, it could, you know, potentially be the case that someone has removed those, you know, for inspection purposes, or it could be a case of, you know, they may have just been off at some point to be, if they've been painted.
Someone's
or
bent
etc.
it.
Hopefully not.
No, exactly. Fine.
So yeah, sort of a quick walk around and, you know.
Yeah. So you're going to be in a few more videos, aren't you? First video in, not that bad.
No, not
as bad as we thought. So you're going to be in a few more videos because we're going to really, I'm going to really try and document kind of every stage of this. So you've already mentioned it. We're going to be changing the brakes, aren't we?
Yes.
Are we going to start with those?
So the first thing we're going to start with is we're actually going to drop the engine out.
Yes, yep.
Purely for the reason why we are dropping the engine out is because we've got to change the timing chain, which is on this end of the engine.
Right.
And obviously the clutch, and put in the replacement differential in.
Fine.
Obviously being on the other side, you know, we want to change some bits, try and clean up a few bits. So we're just going to drop the engine out and try and sort of bring it back to health again.
Are you thinking get the engine out, obviously change all the bits that we know we're going to be changing, and then I guess obviously, you know, put it back in when it's ready, and then probably move on to the brakes and some of the other bits and bobs?
Yeah, so yeah, like you said, we're going to get the engine out first, and then once that's, you know, all that side is completed, then we'll get that back in, get all the brakes done, you know, a few other bits and pieces, the replacement alternator.
Yeah.
One of the idler wheels for the fan belt is quite noisy as well, so a few little niggly pieces like that, and then obviously try and get a MOT on it and get it back on the road and get it down to the dyno.
Yeah, fine, cool. Right, so we thought we'd just have a look at the brakes, assess how bad they are, and then yeah, talk. They're not standard coilovers, are they?
No, so these are, the car has got a set of teen coilovers on.
Nice.
Have got a slight bit of corrosion on there,
they-
so hopefully we may be able to do something with those.
Is that hole meant to be there? Just the big hole there. I mean,
yeah. So the way the steering geometry works on the Civics is the track rod end is obviously mounted up top, with the steering rack being quite hard on the bulkhead. So yeah, it's
a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something you don't see on many cars, so it is something that is a little bit different with these.
And then there's a lot of rust going on in there. I mean, that disc has seen better days.
So yes, we
looks like it's come off the Titanic.
Yeah, so we're going to be fitting some replacement discs and pads and some fresh brake lines as well. Obviously you can see that the state of the discs are very heavily corroded. The calipers are actually sticking slightly as well. So,
oh damn.
So
we can save them though, don't we? We don't need to get new calipers.
We are actually putting new calipers
on.
Oh,
we are? Oh, right, fine,
yes.
Okay.
So,
cool.
yeah, just as a bit of peace of mind. Obviously the car has been stacked for quite a period of time.
Are we going OEM calipers?
Yeah, so we're going to use the OEM calipers for now. We're going to use an OE equivalent brake disc with some uprated Frodo DS2500 brake pads in there.
Fine.
Nothing too crazy, just something to try and increase the braking performance.
Just have brakes.
Yeah, yes.
Exactly.
So,
okay, cool.
And then yeah, we may potentially in the future start looking to replace some of the suspension bushes and some of the other suspension components as well. Obviously just try and improve the handling, but for now we'll get the brakes done and try and get the car back up and running and MOT'd.
So there you have it, guys, update on the Civic. I'm just trying to document it as we make progress. It's good to have Joel on the channel, someone who knows what they're talking about. It's first time on camera though, but you know, it's all good. Yeah, very excited to get this back on the road and drive it. I've not driven one before, so it's going to be an experience. And yeah, let's see how we get on with this. My next video is going to be a POV drive of the X3, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm also going to do an update on this very soon. There's some other things to update you about with this. So yeah, until my next video, guys, peace.